Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Connections by TalentStore. My name is Arun. I'm the founder of TalentStore, and today we have Khairul Mazlan, president of MapTech, NLP expert, freelance trainer, and it's great to have you here today, Khairul, bright and early this morning. Happy New Year. I know it's already February, so we've already lost 1 month has already gone. I just want to maybe start off with, a question on how the new year has been, right? In terms of training, in terms of MapTech, anything you want to share in terms of how the year has kicked off for you?
Thank you so much. Happy New Year, Arun. Happy New Year, TalentStore. Happy Chinese New Year. The coming Chinese New Year to
Yes.
everyone, whoever are watching. It's February, just a few more weeks, 1 more week. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me here. I'm really honored to be part of this show. So the question was, how was the New Year? I would say 2023 has been amazing for me. It has
Okay.
helped me, and I have embraced it. 2024 is I'm looking at it as more challenging. At least for January, a lot of things happens.
Mm-hmm.
Career wise,
Yeah.
association wise, because in Malaysia before this we are pushing for accreditation of trainers.
Yep.
One of the things that I wish for is to upskill trainers to give more values in the market, and
Okay.
including for me, and where we want to have one is the target for this year is to give more impact and not just running have fun to have trainings for the sake of funds and KPI, but we want to have
Yeah.
more training that give you more impact and ROI for our clients lah. So
Okay. Eh,
2024 in January is quite packed, I would say.
okay. No, so just speak to me a little bit about MapTech, right? I mean, you talk about accreditation of trainers. What what was the background to that, right? Why did we needed to go into this direction of accreditation of trainers? Was there a gap in the market that you felt that this was needed?
All right. Like others industry, they have associations and unions.
Sure.
But for trainers, in the current market, we cannot build a union
Mm,
at the moment, but we build
mm,
associations so that trainers can actually work together, collaborate. Because if you see a lot of
yep.
trainers, they are talking about leadership, they're talking about collaboration, right? But
Yep.
there are no association in a way that actually talk about collaborations. And MedTech want to be that one association that push on for trainers to help each other to upskill and push
Okay.
everyone up, so that the people in the industries are giving values to the customers, to the client that we teach on, that we facilitate and we coach. So that's
Yeah.
how the MapTech focus on. We focus
Okay.
on quality. We focus on flexibility. We want to have everyone to share their knowledge so that everyone have more values in the market lah. And
Mm,
accreditation of trainers is where step number one of showing that the trainers in Malaysia actually not just uh, trainers by certificates. We really do the training. We really put the hours in teaching people, and that's why
yeah.
we want people to get accredited lah. So it doesn't. We don't want like people go to see doctors, but they only see patient once a year. The other time are only
Right. Right. Right.
holiday, right? So nobody
Yep.
want
Yep.
to go on a plane where the pilot doesn't have enough hours of driving their
Yeah.
planes, right? So we want to
Yeah.
have
Of course.
trainers that are like that.
Mm. Okay. Okay. I understand. And today, just for the audience sake, right? How big is MapTech? Like how when did you guys start? And how has it grown? What's the response been from the freelance training community in Malaysia?
Wow, wow. Okay. It started like 5, 6 years ago.
Okay.
Where 20 peoples of trainers. At that time, I was not even in MedTech yet. But the story
Okay.
was they wanted to have a voice, a union voice that
Okay.
tell the HRDC, tell the clients what trainers do, and all the things that people don't see in
Yeah.
the training sites. So
Okay.
these 20 people built MapTech, Malaysia Association of Professional Trainers and Coaches.
Yep.
And it started from there, and this is, I think, our fifth, 6 years. No, it's our 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, our 7 years.
Okay.
And in terms of community, we have more than 6,000 people in our community. In our Facebook, we
Sure.
have like 20,000
Nice.
people that following us, sharing jobs, sharing opportunities. We are the biggest account holder for Zoom in a time during pandemics. So a few things that we do, collaboration with HRDCs,
Okay.
and also other associations in actually uplift the industries.
Nice. I mean, yeah, I think the because of HRDC, I think the market has really grown and grown and grown, right? I think even the levy has kind of grown and grown and grown over the years. Um, so then, given your unique perspective, because you are the president of the association, but also you probably speak to a lot of freelance trainers. My question is, how has it changed over the last few years, right? The training market in general. Um, you know, Given that we were in pandemic, a lot of us had to go into that virtual hybrid mode. How has it changed? How what do you foresee as the future as well? Like if you look into the future, maybe 1 or 2 years from now, what is your aspiration for the market?
Oh, that's a good question there, Arun. What I see during pandemic is
Mm,
actually force that actually trigger a lot of trainers, especially the
okay.
senior trainers, to upskill themselves. Because where before
Right.
pandemic, I noticed that a lot of people thinks these are the topics that I can run. I
Yeah.
can just teach everyone 30 days a month, just going back to back, and just teach. So they don't have time
Yeah.
to upskilling themselves. They don't have
Right.
time to add on more content, more context into their teachings, right? And even the
Mm,
delivery skills. So
yeah.
pandemic actually have pushed people to look into upskilling themselves, because a lot of people are talking about VUCA before pandemic. And suddenly
Yeah.
COVID happened, lockdown happened, and the VUCA is not just hearsay. It's an
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
VUCA world, right? And I
Right.
see a lot of people struggling. I was
Okay.
lucky enough. I have my mentors. I have my friends. I was down for 2 weeks. I still remember that. For 2 weeks, I don't know what to do. My whole year project was cancelled off. Payment was delayed, and few things
Yeah.
happened, and I was really down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but it really forced trainers, facilitators, and coaches to look into different perspective of delivering and adding values.
Mm, yeah.
And that is where people start to look into online teaching, people look into hybrid teaching, and people start to build their own studios. Even for me, because I run program with experiential, with gamification, it forced
Yeah.
me to bring all my game, not all, some of it are still work in progress, some of my game to online version, so that I still can
Yeah.
run it, I still can get
Yeah.
people experience it. In the same time, the impact are still there, right?
Mm,
So it
yeah.
really forced us them. And going forward, one thing that I can assure you, what people looking at, is to understand generative AI. Nowadays, there's a
Okay.
lot of AI seafood in the market,
Yeah.
and most of them will look like having like 20 years of experience, although AI just like 2 3 years age. Um, that which is interestingly, but a lot of people have feared the trends, but not many people actually immerse in it. And going
Mm,
forward, people want to know more about it. This is the in thing. So most programs, if you
yeah.
put like outline with AI inside it, the higher probability for that projects to be called by the clients. Because
Okay.
as much as people know about AI, doesn't mean they understand AI and know how to do it, right? Because sometimes people
Exactly.
thought AI is like uh, a robot thing,
It's
and they can think on their
yeah.
own.
Yeah.
So, but
Correct.
going
Correct.
forward,
I mean, it's
even 5 years ahead, lah.
All right. No, I mean AI is it's a big buzzword now, right? But I think
Yep.
you're right. I mean a lot of people try to integrate AI into their solutions, but sometimes it is not really AI. Like it's just a kind of masquerading as AI. But I can see where you're going. I mean, so then coming back to that question on that during that COVID period, right? Moving to online, moving to hybrid mode, what was the biggest struggle for you in terms of getting that engagement, right? Because people were so used to physical stuff, they were so used to face to
Mm.
face. And then when you move into that hybrid mode, how did you tackle that engagement portion? Like, how did you get people to continue to value your product as you were doing it in the face to face mode?
Wow, the biggest struggle for me is actually to do my interventions because I
Okay.
do NLP therapy and whatnot.
Yeah.
And most of it, I convert that intervention into game mode so people will feel safer. So people will say,
Okay.
okay, Khairul, let's close your eyes. People will say,
Okay.
why do you want me to close your eyes? All right.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that will be the biggest struggle because I convert most of my activities into game modes. So people will
Okay.
play it and learn and get the aha moment during it. So when
Okay.
pandemic happened, most of my game are face to face. So
Right.
it was a struggle to understand the technology part of it,
Yep.
so that people still can play it without having any difficulty. Because during that time, one of the challenge is the internet stability. The
Yeah.
second challenge will be people to on their camera and I can observe and calibrate what
Mm.
happened into them. Because
Yeah.
if you off it, I don't know what happened, right? They will claim they are in
Yeah.
front
Yeah.
of camera, but maybe they are eating nasi lemak or something behind that. Uh,
Yeah.
so I believe that my most challenge is how to bring my game online so people can still
Okay.
interact, still engage, and still giving feedback to each other by having in the game environment itself. So
Okay.
and without me forcing them lah, so
Mm.
that the facilitation will become much more smoother than just
Okay.
me giving all the lecture. I don't know how to do lecture though.
Yeah, I don't think people want to. I don't think people want to hear lectures. I mean, given the world that we are in today, lah. I mean, it's a very traditional format, right? Um, so coming back to you mentioned NLP, right? And I think a lot of people who probably are watching this would recognize you as an NLP expert, or at least being in the NLP field for a long time. What kind of made you get attracted to that field? Like, was it something in your background, maybe your past career, something that kind of indicated that this might be a path for you, right? What was that?
Oh, okay, that's a that's a good and great question. Well, as a my background doesn't have anything to do with NLP. By design, I
Okay.
was a marine engineer, and I'm an
Okay.
actual engineer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I came back to Malaysia because I have feel one of my bucket list to travel the world, and then
Okay.
I go into the corporate world. And during the corporate world, we did hear a lot about NLP, but
Okay.
we don't know how to apply it because people say it's a pseudoscience, right? So it just
Yeah.
triggered me to understand more. And I believe during 2015, 2016, where I start to understand more about the neurals part and more about the programming part. And because I'm an
Mm.
engineer, I do understand the structure of thinking. Um,
Okay.
and one of the projects that I was working on before I left corporate is to combine it's an AI. Before people talk about AI, we already think about it around 2015 like that. Is to combine
Okay.
sales, marketing, and customer service and call it an omni-channel. And during that
Okay.
time, the trigger that have the similarities on all of that department is actually NLP. So we studied how people like to talk with other people, what kind of
Okay.
voices that people doesn't like to hear, what kind of personality that people love to hear to be with. And we
Yeah.
work with a few companies. And one of the apps that we use as is called Einstein. So it work with data a
Okay.
lot, and based on the NLP input that we give, We know this kind of customer, if they call, we'll connect to this kind of staff
Wow.
that can handle that customer. So it's all NLP in a way that we work in building a system. All right.
Interesting. Okay.
But that is based on readings and understanding and feedback from all our stakeholders. 2017, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh,
Got uh,
um,
doctor give me 3 months to live. The first two
wow.
months I don't do anything. I just choose death in a way. Until my daughter asked me, Ayah, who is your superhero? And we were watching Avengers, and I say
Mm,
my hero is Iron Man, and because handsome, rich, right? And the most important part is
yeah.
got hair lah. But one statement from her changed my life is when she says, "You are not Iron Man, you are Hulk because you are strong." So 2018 is where I dive deep. After I came back for chemotherapy, I dive deep in
Okay.
NLP, and I noticed that um, NLP have a lot of similarities in people's brain and also in the computer's brain, and that's where I start to figure out to how I can do the same thing in building systems with corporate world, with the departments that I work with, and if I can do the
Mm,
same thing with helping people's brains and the system that
yeah.
people have in our brain. Um, so that is how I think I was known in NLP, because I look people's brain as how I work with the corporate world as an engineer per se. It's very structured that way.
Okay.
And that's how I approach it. And I was called seriously during pandemic, when a lot of people are depressed, a lot of people are sad. Suddenly, everyone
Right.
are panicked, and a
Yeah.
few of us, the practitioners, were called over to help out, like the befrienders, to get calls to I would say to calm the nations because of the COVID
Okay.
pandemic lah. So I
Yeah.
think that is where I was known to do interventions and all the therapy lah.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, it's amazing story, right? Overcoming adversity, kind of taking your corporate experience, kind of seeing the linkages, and then implementing it now in your career. Uh, um, how how has that kind of mapped out? Like, so when you started with NLP, I think you kind of did that Einstein project. You kind of got involved, and then now you're kind of implementing it. Has NLP itself evolved over time? Because I know that it has been around for some for a very very long time, right? I think even pre 2016 NLP existed. Um, how has the NLP world kind of shifted over time?
Oh, it changed a lot. People
Okay,
now accepting it more because in a way NLP's approach doesn't use drugs, and it's an
okay,
alternative to look into EQ, into mental
right,
well, mental health in a different way. Because
okay,
for people in NLP, for us practitioners, everyone are in the map of the world. So we don't have that saying, oh, if I look someone, they have mental issues, then we need to solve
okay,
that problem. For us, if you have a problem, you will, if you want to solve it, then we solve it. If you think you have
mm,
benefit with it, you get something out of it, you are not ill. You just the best version
yeah,
of you. So it helps
right,
people to feel more comfort, more ease, and when they want to do any transformation work into themselves, it's easier for them to feel that because it is from within instead of from external. So most people
okay,
have these external factors that say, "Oh, you are crazy, man. You are you are depressed. You need help." So it doesn't really
okay,
help in a way because of that. And NLP really
yeah,
helps, especially for corporates where people see other people need help. Then instead of asking them to eat medicine or something, they can use alternative
mm,
way to actually help their colleagues do intervention,
mm,
do problem solving. Like my school are very focused in problem solving. If you have internal
okay,
conflict, we have our intervention. If we have external conflict, we have our intervention. So we do that
okay,
instead of just putting people straight to psychologists. to solve problem, and
Yeah.
then they were brand as people that have problems, right? So that is
Right.
one thing
Right.
that I love about NLP, because they look at everyone as the best version of people until they want to change. Then we step in and really help them lah.
Hmm. I mean, I, 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 I think that's quite interesting, right? I'm not very well versed with NLP, so to hear it from you, I think I completely kind of changed my perspective also on NLP. I think I've heard of NLP before. I've gone through certain modules on NLP in the past, but I was not very well versed with it. So thank you for sharing that. I think as we wrap up today's session, I think I just want to say a big thank you to you for not only spending the time with us, but today, but also being a partner of TalentStore. I think when we started, we wanted to just connect the market from the customer side, from the demand side, see how the demand and supply side, and see how we can make it more efficient in the market. And hopefully, you got some value from it as well. I know being part of the platform. This year is a big year for us because we really want to push the demand into the platform so that more trainers get leads, RFQs, and we're starting to get quite a lot of demand. So I do want to take the time to thank you for being one of our early partners, and and being part of that journey with us, lah. So any last words? I mean, Khairul, anything else that you want to mention before we wrap up today's session?
I would like to say thank you first of all, because I believe Talent Store is a great platform. I believe in a vision and mission, which is awesome. When first
Yeah,
you share it with me, I think it is a way to move forward when people have an open market instead of just very close loop.
yeah,
And the last one I would say is anyone that wanted to have added values, it's not just me. Just go into talent store, and I believe you will get the best person to give value to your company, to get solution for your problems. And I'm looking
yeah,
forward to actually connect with everyone that I can add value to. Because I cannot solve
yeah,
all the problems in the world, but I believe there's a lot more behind me, the trainers, the coaches, the facilitators, that actually can
yeah.
add values to other people. And I would love for people to upskill, to empower all the employees and employer, to connect with us and improve, go above and beyond.
All right. Thank you so much for that message, Carol. So, to everyone else, I mean, have a great day ahead. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and we do this every week. We try to cover a different trainer, a different training provider sometimes as well to kind of understand what they do in the market. So, see you on our next episode, which should be coming out on a weekly basis now, right? Especially in 2024. So, thank you so much, Carol. Thank you to all the audience. See you next week.